Right, what is up, everyone? It has been a long time since I last filmed one of these because stuff's been happening and the country is on fire. But I'll not leave you in too much suspense. Today I have the 00 Qant Full Saber. So this guy here is recommended as a really strong 00 series kit by Mecha Guy Katsu, who is one of the main people I follow and listen to online. I was really lucky to be able to find this kit on the shelf at the Gunpla Expo here in Australia, more specifically in Sydney. I picked this one up along with a Build Divers Re-Rise kit, which I've already built. Didn't bother filming that one. Check the Instagram for that. And I also picked up the Sazabi, but Sazabi is going to be a huge project, so this guy first. So I did take a quick look through the box earlier, so it's pretty straightforward for the most part from the looks of things. It is going to be a pretty decent sized build, and probably my favourite part is I get more of this. I love it when a kit gives me a free action stand. It's awesome. There is quite a number of stickers and decals and things in here as well. So this is going to be a bit of a fun kit to put together. Should take me about 4 or 5 hours to just snap it all. Whether or not I do more advanced stuff, we'll see as we go along. Hopefully it holds together fairly well. I do have the 7 swords perfect grade, and these huge ass weapons weigh a ton, so fingers crossed this one's slightly better designed to deal with that weight. But anyway, let's jump into it. Right, and that is that kit complete. So this one here, as I mentioned at the start, is from recommendation by Mecha Gokotsu. I basically got this kit because he recommended it. Really glad I did. I do really like the style and aesthetic of this kit. The whole thing, like you take it apart, it's basically Exia, which is awesome. And I really, really enjoyed building it. It was heaps of fun to build. There was some really interesting parts and challenges. It was a moderately difficult build in comparison to some others, but it has a lot of problems as well in the build. So one thing I notice with these double O kits specifically is it's got all these weird color shiny parts. So this one's got its own problems, like the Dynamis and other ones have different issues as well. So on Dynamis and a couple of others, they've got those clear strips in like the knees and stuff where it shows through. This one doesn't have those. Instead, it's just got these GN condensers. So it's got it on the wrist, it's got it on the elbows, it's got it on the knees, it's got it on the doesn't have it on the ankles, which is nice, and it's got it on the side of the head, and it's got it on the chest. So these clear little plastic things are a pain in the ass for anyone with large fingers or can't deal with fine motor control. So like my hands are fairly steady, but when I try to do tiny little things, I shake just enough to make it a mess. Hasn't helped that it's been quite hot and my hands were getting really sticky and sweaty, which was unpleasant when trying to work with tiny little plastic parts. I did manage to get it, but you'll probably notice it stops in a few minutes, a few parts where I'm like this for like a couple of seconds. Those couple of seconds in time-lapse is more like 5 minutes in real life. So yeah, there was a few parts where I did really struggle with the small parts on this. And the small parts are why I like getting these master grades, and that they don't have quite the tiny pieces that like a highly detailed high grade would, or a real grade does, which is why I really like the high grade kits. So yeah, it does detract a lot from having that. Purely from a personal perspective, it does bring it down to a 7 out of 10, rather than the potential 8 or so that it could be. If it weren't such a solid looking kit, it'd probably be even lower, but really my only detraction is these, but it is a huge issue for me having having those tiny little parts. So this will probably won't be one of the last 00 kits that I get. I'm not a huge fan of them. The only one that I'm really looking at getting now is the Perfect Grade Exia, either lighting or non-lighting editions, but that's really the only 00 kit that I'm looking at getting anymore, because I've got the Dynamis, I've got this one. If I get the Perfect Grade, I'm done. That's it. I don't need any more. I do also have the Perfect Grade 7 swords, which was one of my first introductions to 00 kits, and that's not a great introduction because that kit is a mess. But I did really enjoy the challenge of it, so I do want to build the Exia Perfect Grade as well, because I've heard such amazing things about that kit. I just need to find it and also have the $300 to $400 on hand to buy it when I find it. But anyway, this kit here, it does come with some really cool features, like these weapons are amazing. I've kind of gone with a bit of a Yojimbo kind of thing where he's holding on to the hilt of his sword. I am looking at doing a bit more posing with him. I'm probably going to have him ready to draw in I can't remember the term at the moment, but EI stance, to kind of have him as a bit of a samurai. I might take these weapons away and kind of strip him down a little bit so he's a bit more bare bones, but he does look pretty cool on the shelf at the moment. Overall, he's a bit of an average size kit. He's nowhere near like the Sinanju, but he's also a little bit taller than other master grades as well. So he's pretty cool. If you are looking at getting a 00 kit, I would strongly recommend this one as a starter. Either this one or the Dynamis are probably the two best 00 kits from all the reviews I've seen and from my own personal experiences. So yeah, I do strongly recommend this one, especially if you're good with fine motor skills. Unlike me, you'll probably have slightly less problems with the clear parts. Anyway, here's the view of him from the back, just in case. He does have in here the ability to take one of the LED units so you can light up. I don't have any spare, and I don't like the Bandai ones enough to spend an extra $30 or something on them. So I'm just going to leave it without it for the time being. I might steal the one that I've got in my Dynamis and put it in here just to see what it looks like once I get home. But otherwise, that's him. Like I said, it's a 6 out of 10, or 7 out of 10, but I'm probably leaning more towards the 6, mainly because of these tiny little parts. I did have a few other little problems with him as well during the build, but the build was overall fairly simple. As a speed snapper, took me probably 4 hours. It had a couple of complicated parts, and I was slowed down a lot by those GN condensers. If it didn't have those, probably would have taken me about 3. But yeah, I do recommend this one for any people that are looking at getting the 00 Qant. It is a very fun kit, and it looks amazing. It's also much stabler than you'd think with these huge heavy plastic things on the shoulder. It stands quite easily by itself. So yeah, that's a huge bonus as well. So yeah, 6 to 7 out of 10. So let's go 6.5, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one.